Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer one of the Selenium interview questions. That is, how do you mark a method as data provider using TestNG annotation? Let me answer. In TestNG, we have an annotation known as @data provider annotation. By specifying or mentioning this annotation on top of a method, that method will become a data provider or data supplier. Let me practically demonstrate this for you. For that, I'll switch to this Eclipse IDE, where first I'll create a normal test method, okay, to which we need to supply the data. Public void, I'll simply say sample test or whatever it is, okay. You can give any name, and I'll convert this normal method into the TestNG test method by mentioning @test annotation on the top. Now I'll hold the mouse on this @test and import this from TestNG. Here I'll write down string username, comma, string password, 2 parameters. So whenever this test method is executed, I would like to print it out. Logged in using this username and password. Like this, I would like to print, okay? I would like to print the username and password. So how to supply the data to this test method? For that, I'll create one more method to supply the data. Public void supply data method, okay? You can give any name. And here, to convert this normal method into a data supplier method, which annotation I have to use? @data provider annotation, which is the answer for this question, okay? That annotation I have to use here, @data provider annotation I have to use. Now hold the mouse on this data provider annotation and import it from TestNG library. Done. After that is done, now this method need to supply the data to this test method. For that, I need to prepare the data. I'll create a 2-dimensional object array. Data is equal to how many sets of data I want to, or you want to supply, that many number of curly braces I have to provide inside. Okay, like this. Here, first set of data, username is Arun and password is 123. Here username is Varun and password is 456. Here username is Arun and password is 789. Okay. Now I would like to return this data. This is 2-dimensional object array. Object array. Okay. Now we are ready with a method which can supply the data to any test method. But this test method want to receive the data from this data provider method. Okay. For that reason, I have to make a connection between this test method and this data supplier or data provider method. Okay. I can give the name for this data provider method also. Name is equal to data supplier 1 or something. Okay. You can give any name. Now simply here, sorry, let's click on stop it. Fine. Let me close this. So here I would like to supply the data from this data provider method to this test method. For that, I have to use data provider annotation, not annotation, attribute. Okay. So, and here this is an attribute I have to provide beside the test method, beside the test annotation. And here I need to give the name of the data provider. That's it. The connection has been bridged between this data provider and this test method. Okay. So how many times this test method is going to run? 3 times, because there are 3 sets of data. The first time when you run this test, first set of data will be passed. Okay, logged in using Arun123 will be printed, and again this same test method will be called for the second time, where Varun456 will be passed and it will be printed. And for the third time, again the same test method will be running, and this Arun789. Okay, the simple answer is data provider annotation. Okay, how do you mark a method as data provider using TestNG annotation? The answer is by using this annotation known as @data provider, I can convert any method into a data supplier or data provider method. Okay. And now let me run this to see whether it is working fine or not, whether this data provider is supplying the data and the same test method is running thrice, because there are three sets of data. You see, three times. Sample test, sample test, sample test, every time with a different set of data. Here you can see the print statements printing, logged in using arun 123, logged in using 1456, logged in using arun 788. So hope guys you got the answer for this question. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye bye.